Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Red Sand Rising. I am Charlie, or CheesyGMing, as your GM for this AP, and with me, as always, are my lovely friends. Say hi, lovely friends.
Well, hello there. My name is Elias, and I'm playing Giovanni Bellarosa, the beautiful, aesthetic dwarf who is dead set on defending the gardens of Sandpoint, no matter what.
Hey, I am today a sniffly fae playing Sappho, a resident bard with a tremendous fear of being turned into a chicken nugget.
Hello, I'm Sylvia, and as always, I'm playing our local goblin wizard and alchemist apprentice, Jiji.
And with us once more is our guest player. Say hi.
Hi, I'm Christoph. I'm playing Mamoru, the tanuki, who is curious what will happen today.
That is a good question, as last we left off, our party went to speak with Father Zantus about the town hall meeting, learning that the meeting is meant to gather the town council and judge whether Father Zantus placed Sandpoint at risk by summoning the spirit of Noalia. After deciding to retire for the evening and spend the next day preparing for Father Zantus, the party went to see Tippler as Mamoru went ahead to the Cracktooth Tavern, where the party found a goodbye letter telling them Tippler went out with Cruncher to try to truly connect to the natural part of the world. Returning to the tavern, sad and heavy, the party, along with Mamoru, took some time into the evening, eating soup and drinking beer, while bringing up memories of their time with Tips. And now, after a long night of drinking and telling tales, the group goes back in the morning to Father Zantus as he plans to explain who are the council members and how they should prepare for the upcoming meeting. We are back in sunrise, or a couple of hours after that, since you have been spending the last couple of hours probably sleeping hurriedly after drinking most of the evening. And in the morning, you make your way back to the cathedral in various, situations of mentality and awakeness as you go meet Father Zantus. You see on your way, he is already outside the cathedral, having a little table with, of course, snacks. Outside in the open side of the garden, not in the graveyard side, but in the other side, where there's less weird things. Waiting for you with a couple of chairs, some morning drinks, coffee, salty snacks, savory snacks, sweet snacks. Waving. Actually seeming calm.
Well, Sappho has been spending the morning and probably part of the walk, like partially reading, because she used her wonderful spell to summon her little pocket library and a book just on laws regarding, so that they might help her later on when it comes to knowing things about laws and all of this degree when it comes to summoning spirits and how a city deals with it.
How is that going for you? Any useful stuff in there that helps us?
I mean, there's a lot on here, but I think there's a lot, and I kind of need Father Zantus to tell us a little bit more about what exactly cues all this, so that I can maybe find, a case or something that relates to it that hopefully had a good ending, or we know what to avoid. But let's ask, all right? Hello, Father Zantus.
Good morning. How are you all faring?
Hungover.
Okay. That's... Sure, there's time until the meeting.
Actually, I've developed my own hangover cure from secret underground plants. that
then you
have
must
been
tell
sourced
us.
from definitely not the catacombs that we have been sent to below Sandpoint, but other reputable sources.
I get a funny hunch that there is some connection to the catacombs below. However, who knows how you found your way there? And he kind of like waves his hand up as if like no one will ever know. Please, there's refreshments. And as promised,
Honestly,
like,
a snack
pats-
and breakfast sound great.
would you like something a bit more substantial? We can ask for someone to help make us something a bit more...
This already looks great, but I don't want to trouble you,
It's all
Father.
fine.
Let's...
All yours. Oh, don't worry.
Mamoru probably already sat down and is like mouthful, both paws like a snake in there and very much enjoying himself.
Giovanni is right next to him, kind of making it a competition who can eat more snacks, who can fit more snacks in their mouth at once.
I mean, looking at those two guys, maybe we'll need a bit something more.
Please.
But,
Please. I will make sure to have something. I tried to figure out last time what was your favorite, but everything was empty, so I just assumed everything was the favorite.
I
Yes,
think they
it's
were
very
just
good.
hungry. Yeah. But let's ignore the snacks and let's talk about what's very important. The case.
Yes. If you don't mind me asking before, and he like points at the fact that all of you are there, and clearly he does not know where Tip is.
Tibble can't come. He is on a self-discovery journey.
Oh. I will make sure to update the relevant people. Oh, that explains. Okay, I understand. I'm sorry, and I hope he finds what he looks for. And I'll make sure to update those who are relevant, so you do not need to go through this again and again.
Thank
And
you.
he kind of like nods.
But I think we should be focusing on you.
Yes. The council members, and he kind of like taps a stack of papers that is on the desks a little further away from the snacks, probably to make sure it doesn't get dirty from the snacks because he's seen you eating before. As I've said yesterday, we will go over the council members and, well, maybe what their own perspective might be, although some of them I am not familiar, but some of them is very easy to know, as well as what we're actually dealing with. Because as I've mentioned before, I do not want to lie to the town hall, nor do I want to throw the blame on anyone else, but I truly believe we have enough information and concepts to prove that we did not, in fact, put Sandpoint in danger, especially with most of you protecting the town during the ritual. So, where would you like to start? Would you like to start with the general idea of what we need to bring up, or would you like to start with the council members?
General idea sounds good. I'm too tired for all those documents still.
Oh,
Maybe there's someone we have some dirt on, and we can blackmail them.
I would not recommend blackmailing anyone. Especially because I'm one of the council members, you should not be telling that to me.
We are trying to be all above the board, so
Exactly.
I was obviously just kidding, Father. Don't worry. It was just a joke, just a prank.
Oh, yes, of course. Not worried at all. Yes, so general concepts. What I truly believe would be the best case would be convince, or even if possible, show what we did was for Sandpoint, not against it. Their main claim, brought up by, well, you probably know where and from who, general rumors that went around town, saying that the whole ritual, by summoning the spirit of Nualia, we immediately placed other spirits into a possession of trying to take over Sandpoint, which, not gonna lie, kinda is true, but also not exactly. Do you remember that during the ritual, some spirits could have taken over the communion, which was why it was important to focus on it?
Yes,
That was...
but we were there to deal with it.
Exactly.
This was...
Actually, one of those guys almost took my shadow off.
Oh wow, you lost your
That
shadow?
was pretty dangerous, honestly. Maybe you were putting Sandpoints in danger. No, only 2/3 of it. But
Hey, don't mention that out loud at the trial, okay?
I'll focus on the snacks.
Just at the trial, don't mention that it was dangerous. Just how heroically and beautifully you dealt with it.
Precisely, because you all did make sure that nothing happened. No spirit took over the communion, and at no point did any of the townsfolk were in any danger. The only one who placed themselves in danger, and it kind of points at you, are the already heroic and adventuring group of Sandpoint, those who already put themselves in danger for the town. So I believe showing or explaining, actually describing what you did, but obviously to minimize how dangerous it actually was for other people, because no one was in injury location.
We can also prove they came to the location and none of them got harmed. Not even a
True.
tiny bit.
Exactly.
Nothing to them happened, even though they were super close. We just were like, hey, it's dangerous. It's the same as if, you don't let children next to fireworks. You say, please stand back 20 feet and let the adults handle this.
Yeah,
That
let
is
the
actually a
professionals
very good
handle it.
point. Yes, you spoke to the townsfolk before. Not only did you take care of the danger, you were already seen by the townspeople, asking them to leave to verify that they're not in danger. That is actually a good point for us.
Because we care about the town and everyone being safe, but we also care about setting wrongs right and making sure that also in the future our town is safe and not just in the immediate next 5 minutes.
That is good, that is good. So, we have so far 2 points. First one, you made sure to remove the people from the area of danger to make sure that none of them is going to get hurt. And the second one, you yourselves placed yourselves in the ritual and protected everyone from something bad happening. That's already 2 points for why this was not endangering Sandpoint. That's very good.
And
think
also,
Is there anything else?
what Sappho just said is the point of the whole ritual was to make sure that the future of Sandpoint is safe and that nothing dangerous comes from these restless spirits. So, the overarching goal of making this ritual was for the safety of Sandpoint and not against it.
Yeah.
That's very good.
The only one putting danger upon the city with any kind of ritual with this was people that had bad intention because the spirit was still restless. So that is Rib Nugget, and we're gonna deal with Rib Nugget soon. Will not be turned into nuggets, but we will deal with him and make sure he cannot turn anyone. He can't rip people apart. Yes.
Which is where you come in, Mamoru. Correct? You're also here to help the town against this.
Yes, I'm also here, and I'm trying to help as best as I can. But
Then we
I'm
can...
More confidence. More
good.
confidence.
Okay, I'm definitely here to definitely help out with.
Okay.
Rib
Stand a
Nugget.
little bit more straight, and then
Okay.
roll your shoulders up and to
Okay.
the behind you. So
Like
you have a
this?
broad chest. Yes. Broad
Okay.
chest, and deep breath in, deep breath out. And now you're just with this, you have a proud, you will just convey more confidence to others. It's a power
I'm
stance.
not sure about that, but sure, I will remember that.
Then I will
need to
make
have a
sure
power
to warn
stance.
you.
Also, I'm kind of okay in convincing people, but I'm very good at deceiving people. So if you have anything where I can
No,
okay.
we're not going to lie to people.
Let
Not
me ask
lying,
it this
just
way.
maybe obscuring the truth a little bit.
Then let me ask it this way. Do you believe that you will help with Rip Nugget? Do you truly believe in that?
I will try.
Then you are lying to yourself. You're already deceiving. You are here to help.
I'm not sure if that's a compliment or not.
Whoa, damn, Father, what the hell?
You are here to help. You will be able to help because you are confident and you are able. I've heard about you from
Yeah,
Aldrani.
but she's a bit dramatic sometimes, you know?
Fair. Fair point. Not gonna lie, that's true.
There's one more important matter to discuss, though, which is what we actually gained in terms of visions, in terms of knowledge from the encounter with Noadia. The people of Sandpoint might panic if they hear of those. So that might be a piece of information better left obscured for now.
I think it is good to like say, hey, we've gained knowledge like from setting the spirit to rest and apologizing. We gained insight into we don't need to say how bad it's just of like
just
of
that Rip Nugget
potential
is a threat
dangers so
that
that we
was
can
revealed to us.
prevent proactively work against them before they happen.
Oh wait, the
Yeah.
townsfolk don't know about the vision or like what was in the vision?
Not the details.
You don't know about the visions.
I
right?
know a
As
bit
of now-
about
as
it.
of now?
Ronnie
Or do
told
you
me
know?
like a bit about it, no?
I mean, yeah, fair. Adrani was with us there, and we shared a tiny bit with Father
Fair,
Zantus and
told you about
Adrani.
it.
But we didn't.
But no, the people of
Yeah.
Sandpoint, we have not told them about how bad it really is to avoid like mass panic.
There is a thin line between knowledge and being informed and between creating hysteria and panic.
Yeah, this is
We
why I
want to
would
find
say,
that line.
like, we've got warned about future events so that we can, like, proactively deal with them before they occur to make sure we keep Sandpoint safe long term. They don't have to worry about because they trust us. We protect them. We have done so in the past, but do so in the future. Right?
I agree.
Yep.
Sure.
Well, there are a lot of threats incoming for the town, but I think we are the best shot that Sandpoint has.
You are. That is why you are doing this. I mean, that and the fact that you chose to take it upon yourselves, which is heroic on its own. That's a good point.
Exactly, for the gardens of Sandpoint and the people.
For the
don't
people that
believe-
have the gardens.
Yes, I don't believe if you mention that you're doing it for the gardens, it will be seen in a very nice point of view.
Do people not appreciate my work here? Do you
They
see how
do.
beautiful those gardens are?
You want to make sure Sandpoint is safe enough that even, like, so safe that even the gardens will just continue to be beautiful. That it's like, hey, not even anything will happen because, I mean, if something would happen, you wouldn't have time to tend to the gardens. But of course, nothing, like, we're going to be so great that, you know, everything is just going to flourish.
Alright, I'm better with aesthetics than I am with people, but I guess that goes on the list as well. Do not mention in front of people that you're doing it for the Gardens of Sandpoint. Noted.
Yes.
If you say then you have to just wrap it in a nice package of like that you're gonna keep
And
the
it's
city so
people.
safe that even like everything will just flourish, like, you know, just like the gardens you
Like
tend
it's a
to.
metaphor, right?
That's
Yeah.
good. Very good.
The beauty of Sandpoint
Yes.
might be a better way of putting it.
Yes.
Think about it this way. If there are no people in Sandpoint, there are no people in Sandpoint to make gardens for, now is it? I mean save the people
Interesting idea.
to have the gardens.
That's fair. There's only beauty if there's someone to behold it.
Exactly.
Oh wow, that was very deep.
Write that down.
And I think this is, he actually had this from one of the poems that I've in the last weeks read
Then
out
it's
when it
already
came
written
to-
down.
Yes. But very good that you remembered it.
It's all up in here.
Yes, it is.
Please tell me it's pointing to his beard and not his brain.
He is.
That is amazing.
So, when the trial comes, when the meeting comes, they are going to ask for us to give reasonings. The more reasons we give them to why it was a good thing and not endangering, I believe the easiest will be to convince at least most of the council.
Well, so one thing is, we said of like how we already like made sure that it's safe, but then if we hadn't done this to like set her to rest, there would have been the chance of some actual evil force using her bones to like summon evil, and now that can't happen anymore because we have, made sure her spirit is calm and laid to rest. So that is a very important reason.
Very well. Here comes the more difficult part. Usually, the council used to be the Council of Seven, having 7 different people from Sandpoint leading it. Since 2 of them are no longer having representatives, at the moment the council is Council of 5. Myself included, but obviously I will not be able to take a tide in my own hearing. Other than myself, there are 4 other members, and these will be the ones who will be looking upon us to see if our claims have basis. The easiest one to go over would be our mayor, Kendra Deveran. Kendra has always been very analytic. She will listen to what we have to say, and she will judge based on her opinions of what we bring to the table. As far as I know Kendra, she's a very honest person, and so far, from what I can tell, she never opposed to the idea of burying Nualia, nor did she oppose to the idea of summoning her spirit. So Kendra should not be an issue for us.
Okay. What about the other 3?
Then we have the more problematic side. Titus Scarnetti, father of Charn Scarnetti, is part of the council. The Scarnettis, while they have their differences, put family above all. It will be very difficult to convince Titus Scarnetti. We will need to make very good claims for him to go against something his son has said. And it seems like, non-surprisingly, since Charn Scarnetti was the one who led the people during the ritual, Charn Scarnetti is probably the biggest issue from the rumor side. Convincing Titus to approve of what we have done against what his son is saying will be the difficult task here.
Goddamn Scarnettis, all of them are goddamn douchebags, man. Forget about the Scarnettis.
Does it have to be a unanimous vote?
At least 3 out of 4.
So if we say the Scarnetti vote is the hardest, and it's likely not gonna be in our favor, then maybe it's best to focus on ones that we can influence. If 3 out of 4 would be enough, then maybe it's not.
Wait, we need 3 out of 4 votes? Wait, if only 2 people vote for...
Well, 2 is a tie, so 2 wouldn't decide anything.
Exactly. And I am unable to break the tie in this case, considering the fact that the hearing is to see if I should be removed from the council.
So who are the other 2 people then?
Well, surprisingly enough, the 2 other council members are not politic figures usually. They are just town representatives. We have Kaya Tessarani. Kaya herself runs the brothel in the southern part of the docks. As for what I know about Kaya sticks to facts, but she sticks to what she senses. If she gets a sense that we are bluffing or lying, even if it's something that she will believe is for the greater good, she would not appreciate that. Kaya does not like when people try to twist words to fit their own agendas. However, if Kaya sees what we saw and thinks that it was legitimate, if she gets to think we actually did a thing here that makes sense, it should be okay. But out of all of the four, I would sense that Kaya would be the easiest one to notice if anyone is dishonest.
They're not lying.
It depends. We're not lying. We are coming with the upfront version. But as you've mentioned, we don't want to cause a panic. And if at some point she will sense that we're hiding something, she might demand more information, and that might put us in the panic zone.
I mean, we can also talk to her beforehand and tell her that there is more, and maybe even tell her a bit more, and then tell her we can't tell that to everyone because we want to avoid panic.
It's possible. I'm not positive she would be willing to listen to anything before the hearing. Kind of bribery of information kind of thing.
That's fair.
So out of the three we have Kendra, which seems to be the easiest to handle. Titus will be the most difficult to convince, but I'm not that positive about how Titus reads people, and Kaya will be probably impossible to deceive or hide information from. So we have different things here, which leads us to our final council member. That will be Ilsuari Gandithus. Ilsuari is the head of the academia in Sandpoint. He is leading the Turandorak Academy, where most of the children study, as well as a local orphanage as headmaster.
Could we
Which means
petition to
Ilsuari
her
is going to-
sense for like taking care of children? And like Elias was kind of an orphan and adopted as well. So
That is true. Ilsuari, he is headmaster as well as the head of the orphanage, which might be a good point to bring up how it relates to the people. Out of all of the people, Kaya might be the most what you would call local or blood of the people kind of thing, but Ilsuari is absolutely a very decent and honest man. He would listen to something if it would make appearance that it actually is to serve the people more than anything else. I don't believe we have different versions to tell. I believe if we have one version, it can still fit everyone, but it needs to be convincing, it needs to be honest, and it needs to be, well, and it kind of looks at Sappho here. You need to make it a show. But make it a show of not making it a show.
Yes, I will just be very earnest, and I mean, we've already said there's good reasons why we did it. We did every precaution that we could do. We kept the people safe, even when they were led to us in bad faith, when they were deceived. We don't know by whom. We don't know by whom. We just know they must have been deceived, and maybe they got the information about like bad spirit juju from just, you know, the thing with Rib Nugget, and then we can clear this up, as in this was a misunderstanding, that you never intended anything like evil. We just prevented somebody else from being able to do that. There were only good intentions. All the precautions. We could lead her to rest, and often that was a mistreated orphan that was a mark on Sandpoint's past, and gathered information to make sure that also in the future we can keep Sandpoint safe. This is just... we're just gonna tell the truth.
Yeah, I mean, if someone did it who was not us, it might have gone wrong, but we did it. I mean, in the end, us standing behind Father Zantus should also be a big reason for them to see reason. And I think everyone except for the douchebag Scarnetti is gonna be reasonable from the sound of it.
I'm gonna have to make sure not to call him a douchebag, nor his son during the hearing.
Oh, his son is his son is not even a douchebag. He's just
A dirtbag.
Father, God forgive me if for those words that I was thinking to say, but prevented myself from.
Wait, are they that
This is
bad?
that. Yeah, yes, they are.
They're not great, let's say it this way.
Okay.
No, they're just bad. They're just bad people. It's okay
No.
to say this.
We do not judge who is a bad person based on their behavior, but we should.
Oh no, their behavior is showing that they're doing bad things. And then we can judge them on their behavior.
Okay.
Yeah, this
Well-
Carnetti guy is gonna try to get Father Zantus out of the council just as a power move anyways. What if he just doesn't show up?
That would be against.
And I
the-
don't show up. That would not be ideal, would it?
Nope.
Well, to be fair, if he doesn't show up, it is a lot easier because you need half or more of the council. So him not showing up would actually make it higher favors for us to succeed.
Yeah, I'm just actually more concerned about what the others would think if he doesn't show up. Because, I mean, let's be real, they probably know. They probably know what he's gonna do and what he's gonna vote for. Like, nobody's blind to what the Carnettis are doing in this town.
Well,
I think
To
a lot of
be-
people are blind to it.
to be fully fair, if we're being honest on the topic, and you did not hear it from me, obviously, surprisingly enough, none of the Scarnetti doings are on the illegal side. That's what we have a different location in town for.
Yes, but you don't have to do something illegal to like use to just
They are
be bad.
They are unpleasant, and some of them do abuse their abilities and powers, obviously.
And that means
Though-
you're a bad person if you abuse your power.
I will speak
I agree
in
with
Titus
that.
Scarnetti's name to say that as far as I'm familiar with him and years of serving on the council together, yes, he puts family above else. However, he never fudged a vote when it made sense to go against the family. Just saying.
Well,
Let's hope it's not going to be a first.
Well, in that case, I mean, it sounds like it's not an absolutely guaranteed vote for kicking you off the council from Scarnetti in that case. I've mostly had dealings with his son. That's where my entire view of the Scarnettis comes from, but maybe the father is a bit of a more honorable man.
Oh, the father is
Yeah.
unpleasant as well, but I do believe he is a bit more honest than Charn Scarnetti. As for his other son, I haven't really been too much around him. He's not the very socializing type, so I wouldn't really know a lot. But yes. In that case, I believe we have what we need. Tonight, in the hearing, I will start by presenting general evidence, what we have done in general terms, and I will then ask you to elaborate on how these were not harmful. I don't believe you all have to speak, but I will prepare you for the fact that they will ask questions that we do not know what they are. So whatever they are going to ask, see how it fits to respond. I have full trust in you.
do they ask questions to the whole group or to specific people?
I would assume they will ask it to the group. If someone is uncomfortable in speaking, they will not force someone to speak.
Perfect.
However,
So if
it
you're
is...
not sure what to answer, it's okay to just look at me and I'll answer, okay?
Yes. However, if you have some ways to assist one another, if you're not good at speaking, but you might be able to explain something of like why it makes sense, that would be also a good point to help one another. Mechanically, just to explain this, you will have those who are speaking, and you will have the option to roll a skill that is relevant to the claim that you're bringing as a roll as if you were speaking with one of those skills. Meaning, if, for example, Jiji is not great in... Actually, Jiji is pretty good. But if, for example, Jiji was not great in diplomacy, and she would want to explain why the way they performed something was not harmful, she could use occultism or crafting or something, one other skills that she has, as if she rolled diplomacy.
Can explain the.
If you need an example in the future for a character with bad charisma skills, Giovanni has a -1 in everything.
Oh,
charisma
thank you.
Based, so.
Oh wow.
A -1?
Oh my god.
Yes, because dwarves start with -1 charisma.
Oh, yeah, your skills are...
Fantasy racism.
There's a range between a -1 and a +14, and that's great.
A -1 is tough.
So, for example, if Giovanni would like to explain the nature of something by explaining how it's relevant in a natural wise, you could use nature instead of diplomacy.
Actually, I'm not going to complain about that. Yeah, sounds perfect.
You are assisting each other as long as it is connecting to one of the points you are making. Meaning you can't just talk about like why the gardens are pretty and then nature. It's going to have to connect to one of the points you are bringing up as this has been useful because evidence. Then you explain as an expert.
Sounds good.
Is there anything else you would like to talk with Father Zantus as preparation for tonight's hearing?
I don't have anything.
Yeah, it sounds like we just have to be straight and maybe not go into a lot of detail about the
You can be queer.
dooms coming for Sandpoint, but other than that, we should, I believe, at least get the 3 non-Scarnettis to accept this as reasonable course of action.
Yeah, really not sure if I can be straight ever, but I'll try.
Keep yourself together, Sappho, you can do it.
Hey, Sappho could be queer.
I mean,
As
there's a
well.
reason I chose this name.
Honestly, true. You talked about that. Do you want to do public announcement why you chose the name Sappho?
No. People, I think the right people
Google.
know.
Then if you're not the right people, you're the wrong people, and Google it.
Google is free.
Already
Exactly.
opened
Just
it.
costs you information and data.
Googling as we speak, wrong people reporting in.
Wait, you didn't know as well?
I don't know. I still
That
don't.
was-
I'm Googling it right now and I still don't know.
The first
You
thing
can
I
look
did...
for Sappho or Suffolk and then you will find it. This is also for our listeners. If you don't know, check it out and you might find a whole world opening up to you.
A whole new
Oh, wow.
world.
I love to just wow.
Let's take a couple of moments for the... I want verbal reactions for you.
Well, then Giovanni has his Galarian phone out on Galarian Google and is browsing Sapphic right now, and like, as you said, entire new worlds are being opened up to him. He's like, wow, the pure aesthetic and beauty of it.
See?
Astonishing.
Giovanni loves it.
I like Sappho is a mashup of 2 Greek names.
The mashup of the year you didn't know you need. Let me know when you're done Googling so we can jump into other things.
Interesting.
I'm just gonna make a collab
Sounds like
of
Mamoru.
Oh.
Mamoru is like even more under the spell of this discovery.
I just like that, like the thought, the general idea behind the fact that Sappho and Giovanni have been childhood friends, both of them long-lived, and now, years after, Giovanni's like, let me check my phone, my very much existing smartphone in Galarian
Wait,
to
how-
see
how-
what your name means.
How old is Giovanni again?
51.
51 years of ignorance.
I'm nearly 100 years your senior.
Oh Oh wow.
You were my childhood friend, I wasn't yours, I guess.
I think I've been in Sandpoint for a while, but it wasn't necessarily born here. So, but it's for most people.
I mean,
I've been
dwarves are
here a
just not as
lifetime.
long-lived as elves either, so maybe that's a
True.
good thing.
Sappho's 146.
Wow. Not bad.
Ancient. You are the ancestors.
I've not been around here when the thing with Nualia happened, so you know.
So,
it
Sappho,
wasn't me.
what's like an acceptable age gap for you in like a relationship?
Honestly, makes sense that you would have been in town, just not really around for that. Because it didn't happen that far along in your life. It was like 17 years ago.
Oh yeah. So
I mean, who knows? 17 years ago, you might have all started adventuring.
yeah, like an elf far older needs to be far older than a human to be
Yes.
able to drink. Or
Exactly.
Oh, I do
And
not want to be
like a
barkeep.
goblin and all this.
Yeah, it's the
Barkeepers need to
relation.
know that all of the age is drinking age.
Yeah,
Hey,
being a
that-
bartender is difficult, and therefore we respect them and we give them a tip.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I will remember that for the future. Every time I see a bartender, I will tip them.
So, night or evening comes by, and it's time for you to go to the town hall. A place you probably didn't go too many times. Maybe if you're like a very concerned citizen of Sandpoint, you would go to general hearings. But it's not a place that assembles too many times in general, so it's not like you would have so much familiarity with the council, except for knowing who they are and their general what do they do. Evening comes. There are not a lot of people in town hall. It seems like this hearing is not closed, meaning if anyone wants to come in and hear it, they are available to do so. It's open to the public. But it doesn't seem like too many people arrive to the hearing. The people you can absolutely see in the crowd, though. Baylor Hemlock, the one who told you where to get here, the sheriff of Sandpoint. Obviously, Charn Scarnetti in one of the sides where the guests or viewers are arriving. As well as some
I show
other...
him a middle finger when I arrive.
Sorry?
Just like sneak in a quick middle finger in his direction as I arrive.
Sappho will do her best of like just a performance of like, you know, effortlessly like just her scarf like flowing exactly in front of that finger so people don't see
Censoring
that.
the middle finger.
Like just like
Beautiful.
you
How much
know,
do you want to...
I
How much
will roll
pizzazz do you want to give
performance.
it?
Like
You know
I
what?
will roll performance if I have to.
We do it for the rolls. Give me that. We didn't roll anything today. Give me the roll. Do it open. I will remind you have hero points. I don't think you want to use it on this. Yeah.
No, it's
honestly,
a 25 because
25
my
is pretty
performance-
decent.
Yeah, just effortlessly using scarf to
Absolutely.
like disguise that.
Easy. The moment the finger starts coming up, Sappho, you catch it and you're just moving your scarf elegantly. The Charn seems to be very confused about the show of scarves.
Okay, then instead of showing my middle finger, I will like quickly focus onto the elemental plane and like make just a tiny little bump come out of where Skarn is sitting, so it like pokes him in the ass and is really uncomfortable all hearing long.
I am gonna have to ask, are you doing it secretly? Because
I'm
I will
trying
say
to, yeah.
that attacking...
As like no, it wouldn't be like an attack, right? It's not an attack.
Just a
it's
random
just
bump
like
on the bench. Yes. Beautiful. You make a tiny dent in the bench that he is sitting on. It's very unpleasant. You can give me stealth if you would like to try to do it sneakily to see if he knows you're involved with the uncomfortableness or not.
Yeah, okay. I would try to like seize the moment as Sappho is like putting stuff in front of my hands to do it then.
I'm gonna lower the DC for that. You can give me the roll, make it open.
Alright, my stealth is +2, let's go.
So in hiding the middle finger, you helped him make
And a
it.
natural
Oh, God.
1. So I'm not, like, Giovanni is like, first he tries to hide it and then he was like, no, I want him to know. And then, like, does it really obviously.
Oh my god. As you walk to the defendant side of the town hall, just to remind you where you are in at the moment, you can hear a little what is and like you get a stare from Charles Garnetti as he knows you did something, but he can't point his finger at it. He just feels suddenly uncomfortable, but he doesn't see anything specific. He's like, what did you do? But
And then I just smile at him.
Sappho, under her breath, will also say, "What did you do?"
Don't worry about it.
Other people in the crowd in town hall, you can see, apart from the people you already expect in the council, a woman named Alma Evertine, who runs Sandpoint Savories, the bakery of Sandpoint. One that is actually extremely close to where Sappho lives, as Alma is known to make fantastic food. As well as you can see one Cedric. Cedric is the one who runs the Sandpoint Theater. Cedric Druckus, a bard that is actually quite familiar with you all, considering that he runs the theater, and many times you have been told before that you were inspiration for the things Diaz brings up to play. Aren't a lot of people in this area except for those couple few.
Just a question, is he fine being like the second best bard here? Like he knows, he accepts his place?
He is not even the only bard in Sandpoint that is not Sappho. There are multiple other bards in town. However, the way that he sees it is, you are an adventuring bard, and he is purely a performing bard. Your fields are different.
And that is all right.
Exactly.
Always excuses.
He can think that he is the best one in that one. That's okay.
Yeah. One day we're gonna have a bard off with all of the bards of Sandpoint. Think there are like 4 of them in total, including Sappho. Anyway, you go.
Maybe we should do that today instead of this boring hearing.
I'm sure
should
the
suggest
other
that.
bards will run over
No,
on the
we
council.
work on this.
Sitting in front of you are 4 members. You do recognize all of them, considering the fact that they're all very central figures in Sandpoint. Kendra, as always, with her gentle smile, wearing very elegant clothing and very much seems to be up for purpose. She knows exactly why she came here, and she has a job to do, and she came for that. As well as Kaye, a short woman with long black hair and clothes that seems to be a bit more on the roguish side. Kaye, you are very familiar with the fact that she has her own sense of fashion, and she has a very strong persona. It is impossible to miss when she walks into a room. Followed by Ilsuari, who, as always, is very much tidied up, has long hair collected in like a ponytail, and like a long gray beard, and is adorned with some jewelry and very fine clothing, but still the ones that he wears as the headmaster of the academy. And finally, Titus Carnetti. All humans, by the way. Most of Sandpoint are humans. Finally, Titus Carnetti, not wearing combat armor, but definitely as if like He seems like one of these people who is always prepared, at least somewhat. He doesn't hold a weapon, but he always had something on the side. And even though you all know that Titus Garnetti is now not a fighter, those of you who are on the older side would know that Titus used to have his fighting days. And now is more focusing on, well, doing general aristocratic deals and work, and not the physical type. Calling the meeting is Kendra, who stands up and raises her hands. Welcome all, guests, members. Thank you for the adventuring party for joining us for this meeting. Thank you, Council, for arriving in such a short notice. Concerned members of the town, hello. We have gathered here today to confront the evidence against our own Father Zantus in an attempt to discover if there was any misplay or any actions that have been made in the recent events that were actively risking and knowledgeably risking Sandpoint by summoning the spirit of Nualia. And you hear like, there aren't a lot of like, or shocked things, but there's like some silence after that sentence. We will now ask Father Zantus to open with his statement. And Father Zantus, you have brought your assistant guests here to help provide some evidence, I understand? And like he straightens up. Yes, I did. I have brought with me our Sandpoint adventuring party that helped with the protection of town, and they will be able to provide their own evidence and proof of why we did what we did, and why it did not put Sandpoint at risk, yes. In that case, you may proceed. Father Zantus stands up and kind of like looks at you a little worried, but like takes a deep breath. You prepared for that all day, basically. Dear council members, I bring to you today truth, openness, myself, and as well my beloved friends and town members. Yes, in recent days, a ritual has been performed. However, unlike rumors that have been spreading, there was no danger to Sandpoint by us performing that ritual. Not even that. We have actually realized that performing that ritual was not only safe, but also assisting to our town. Our adventuring party here would gladly elaborate on the evidence we have concluded from performing this ritual. And he points towards you and sits down, as in like, this is where you bring your claim.
Sappho will step forward and do a little bow. As Father Zantus was saying, we supported him and during the ritual to make sure that no danger could pose to Sandpoint. But we've learned since the ritual and also in the days started beforehand, two truths of how this ritual was essential to make sure Sandpoint will not only be safe, but also in the future be safe. Because the rumors about somebody trying to tamper with the bones and the spirit and bringing harm to Sandpoint are true, but it was not Father Zantus. It was somebody by the name of Rip Nugget, who has been trying to use undead goblins to steal the bones and wanted to tamper with it, and summon a manifestation of Noalia that was angry. But the ritual that we did made sure that her spirit is now calm. It is laid to rest, and there's not the danger of her being summoned and bringing harm to the city. With this danger of Rib Nugget, we have tracked down also his whereabouts, and we will be dealing shortly after this trial with him as well to make sure he can't do anything else that would put Sandpoint at danger. Secondly, we learned that because with talking to Noalia and making sure she is felt heard, seen, she allowed us some visions into the future about potential dangers that are coming to Sandpoint. But since we now know about those, we have already started with making sure these will never happen to Sandpoint, so that everyone in here will be kept safe permanently. That is where we see that we did good with the ritual. Would you like me to also elaborate of how we made sure that Sandpoint would, how Father Zantus made sure by enlisting us to keep Sandpoint safe even during the ritual?
You have Titus Scarnetti raising his hand in response. Please, if you will. I have heard a single version, and I would be happy to hear another.
Oh,
how did
yes.
you help Father Zantus?
So, Father Zantus approached us already before the ritual, and because he knew we were trusted protectors of the city, to make sure that, because this ritual is very delicate, that if anything should occur, that we would keep the town safe. So we've been enlisted. We, meaning wonderful Giovanni, very amazing Jiji, and also a very brave Tibbler, as well as me. And we made sure in the ritual that everything stayed very calm, even, and we had this, I think there were as I said, the rumors about something bad happening with the Noalu spirit. I think they overlapped, and where the misunderstanding came from that Father Zantus was doing something evil, even though that was a Rib Nugget. There were a lot of you townsfolk coming, and unbeknownst, I'm not saying anyone was having bad intention. I think this was just unknown kind of disturbance could have caused harm, but also we interfered and said, and I made sure that none of the townsfolk, nobody in Sandpoint could come in close radius. Made sure to let them, that they all went back home, to make sure everyone has been kept safe.
You have Kaya raising her hand as you speak about this event, as if waiting for you to let her chime in.
Yes, sorry. Yes, please.
So just to be clear, and I want to make sure we're upfront here, so you knew about this event in advance before you actually performed it, while the town was still in the dark, am I correct?
That was correct, and that was done to make sure that there wouldn't be a panic about this. It is...
No reason needed. Just to make sure it happened.
Yes.
Thank you. Continue. She puts her hand down.
So, yeah, we made sure that everyone was safe, before, during, and now also after with what we've learned. This is why we've been out the last day, as I think some might have noticed, to make sure to also deal with potential future dangers like Rib Nugget and Sandpoint safe. Anyone wanted to add something? Or do you have any questions? We're happy to answer them.
You see kind of Il-Suari taking his place. We will ask the relevant questions once you are done with your statement. So if you have anything to add, one of your companions, please, this is the time to do so.
I think at this point Mamoru would also stand up and hesitantly step a few steps forward. And then say, hello. Probably not a lot of you know me. I'm Mamoru.
Kendra looking at you. I recall. I never forget a face from a Sandpointer.
Yes, I have been absent for a few years now. But Audrani was the one who sent me back here in concern and to help prevent the things that have been foreseen and that Noalia has shown the party. And I have trained for many years and been on missions before, so without the help or without the ritual, I would not be able to help you here.
That is very noble. We are happy to have another protector to join. Anyone who takes Sandpoint as their home, be it current or previous.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure Jiji can explain the intricacies of the arcane precautions that were done and how the ritual was done to make sure everyone was being kept safe.
Yeah.
She's way better explaining that than I am.
I guess Jiji would also step to the front a bit. Maybe I guess, would the goblin stand on the bench to be tall enough to see everyone? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I can only attest to what Sappho already explained. The whole ritual was done to calm Noalia's spirit and to protect the town of Sandpoint in doing so. As we also already pointed out, we made sure that the surroundings were clear, and that is mostly to protect the casters from the ritual, because a ritual, of course, requires a lot of focus, and it's an arcane ritual. So we had to make sure that both the casters were undisturbed, and if anything were to arise, we were there to keep them from it, basically. And that's also how we tried to keep the townsfolk calm, so that they would not accidentally disturb the casters, which would then cause unforeseen things, but likely just disrupt the ritual, which we did not want to happen.
You see Kaya kind of nodding towards Il-Suari, and she's not hiding it. You can hear her asking, "You are the magic expert. Is she telling how it is?" And you see Il-Suari nodding, yeah. And in the matter of magic, I am very familiar with Jiji and her abilities, and she describes it correctly, yes. In that case, she kind of looks towards, if you have anything else to add, this is the point you would do that, otherwise they will go to questions.
I guess I'm looking last time at Sappho, did we forget any major points that we set out before? Not saying that, but that's kind of looking at her, but...
So, Sappho doesn't think so, because Faye doesn't think so, but also Faye's brain is slightly bad.
Same.
So,
It's
if
late.
there was anything that we've mentioned before, Sappho would have done anything that we talked about before. And if I forgot something, please let me know, because...
I can tell you that from the things we went over before, I do not think we missed something now, but it's late here too. So, is Giovanni adding anything that he would like to describe?
Depends. Is there gonna be a roll for it? Because then I'd like to roll first and then say or based off that, at least know, like, right, if I roll a nat 1, like, I would say is different stuff than if I rolled a nat 20.
So generally how this is going to work is they're going to ask you some questions. I can tell you in advance, for every claim you brought up, your DC is lowered by 1. You brought up 4 claims, meaning you all get a -4 for the DC that you need to hit. Different DCs for different people because they are differently convinced. The part that will make it a little trickier is then the questions, because we're going to do a little roll before the questions to see how far it goes, and further after the questions, if there's something that might be like big stumping, we might need to do some more rolls. So generally, yes, you're rolling something to see how well you're describing.
Okay,
the question
but
is...
we're rolling for the questions. Okay.
Yes.
Well, Giovanni would just, like, get up and say, like, I might have nothing much new to add, but the question here is if Father Zantus has endangered this town. But look at the results. A vengeful spirit was laid to rest instead of being used by an enemy of Sandpoint, and we've been able to track down a big threat to Sandpoint and are in the process of dealing with it. The results speak for themselves. In this world you can't achieve anything without a bit of risk, and Father Zantus was trying to keep this town safe, which he did.
In response to hearing all your claims, you can please tell me what you are rolling to make your claim, to convince what you are trying to present. However, your rolls here are closed. And that is because whatever you roll is compared to the DC of whoever is listening. The question phase may bump it up or down, depending how that goes.
What skills are options? Because I mean, Sappho has been talking a lot, so I would have assumed diplomacy, or is it about also how she presents herself, and is it a performance?
I would allow for Sappho to use performance here, yes.
Hell yeah.
So tell me what you are rolling.
For whatever we're rolling in
would go
general.
for diplomacy then.
Yes? What did Jiji go for?
No, what is the role exactly for? Like, I thought we were gonna be
You're
asked
trying
questions.
That is the second phase.
Oh.
You're now trying to make your general convincing of what you're claiming. So, for example, Jiji explaining the magical theory behind it gives her the option of using Arcana to explain this, or even crafting to explain the things that she did
If
to
I
base their statement.
can use crafting, I would it, but I would also make sense to be Arcana, so...
I would say whatever you feel like Jiji would have described more. If she described it more in a magical way, then Arcana would make more sense. However, if you went in your mind to more of the practical details, that will depend.
As much as I would like to roll crafting, I think it's an Arcana roll, just because it is a ritual in the end.
Sounds very fitting. How about Giovanni?
I think even though Giovanni has better skills in theory, the way he phrased it was very much so that, like, what Father Zantus did was a benefit to society. So I would say, like, just rolling for society makes sense, like, just for the common benefits
Sounds
of
good.
everyone.
Sounds good. See, as you're all making your claims and explanations, faces in the crowd are very much like, you get a sense that most people that actually came here, except for Charles Scarnetti, didn't come here to watch and gloat. They came here out of concern for Father Zantus. As for the council, it's very hard to read, but you get no, like, frowns or something that's very, like, directly seems to be offended or upset about what you have said. Which is where Kendra stands up and explains, each of the council members have prepared a question. We will have these 4 questions, and with that, our hearing will adjourn into consideration. Titus, since you are the one who are most urgent, would you like to start with your own? And you have Titus standing up and clearing his throat. It has come to my understanding that during the evening where you decided to perform the ritual, a crowd has performed in front of you. Would you say, in your own words, that the way you decided to disperse that crowd was with a full consideration to the people and not to your reputation? As I have heard multiple claims of intimidation and people scaring people under the claim that if they would not leave, you would hit them and harm them. Could you elaborate? And he sits back down.
I can indeed elaborate on this. And there is truth to this. But we didn't do it to, do anything to our reputation. We were very much concerned about the crowd coming closer into the circle where there would have been the chance of a potential danger, which we were trying to avoid at all cost. So when there wasn't necessarily, and that's normal, if people are scared, they sometimes don't listen to reason. So some of my friends, including our very own, correct me if I'm wrong, Tippler was one of the people using intimidation, right?
I think so.
Oh, he went through the fucking crowd, brandishing his weapons and being like, oh, you get the hell out of here, or I'm gonna, you swear to God.
As very much as a member of the town guard, Tippler, who saw that potentially the only way to make sure nobody would get harmed was to threaten with harm. He would have not done it, of course, because, you all know him. You all know us. We're not putting danger to the city. But in this moment of where there was a lot of fear going around, he tried his best to counter with fear. That if they are more scared of him, that they would leave.
I wouldn't even call it to threaten with harm. It's more so that the people would have maybe put themselves in danger if they had approached closer, and if they would have ignored our warnings, we would have had to restrain them, not to harm them. We would never hurt the townsfolk. We were trying to protect them, and if they went all against our warnings, we would have tried in a least harmful way possible to restrain them from going closer to the ritual.
Yes, and this is as Jiji has further elaborated, there was basically a show of what if they do something, but only with the intention to make sure people leave the area and that we don't actually have to, with force find people or something like this, but it was all with the full intention to keep the people of the town safe, and it was in that moment the better choice to make them scared of us, and we are ready to face the consequence that some people might not trust us again. That's true, but it's better than anyone getting in harm's way.
You get
Sounds to me like maybe someone who riled up a crowd and put the ritual in risk should be standing up here defending themselves as well, but that might be just me.
Ooh, interesting. You get at least a sharp stare from Titus.
Yeah, it might not be the smartest, but Giovanni is kind of
that fits.
on confrontation course with the Scarnettis.
That leads us to Kaye, who stands up and looks towards you. I am less concerned with, as my fellow member here, Titus, have explained, about threatening. I understand that sometimes that is the way to do things to make sure that people are out of harm's way. I'm not worried about that. My biggest worry is the fact that you were not upfront with the idea before, as the general idea was to do that and then try to explain it later. Do you not think that the fact that it was, even though it was not in your hands as far as I understand, the decision was made by Father Zantus, however, would you not say that keeping people in the dark about something as major as this one, would it not bring easier results had you asked about trying to perform it before? Sure, you might have had some resistance, however, it would have probably ended with an easier result than fear and panic that was already caused by the time of the ritual. What do you think?
I honestly don't believe so. Because sometimes there's a difference between knowing and understanding. And understanding means a lot of, you need to understand every intricacy of a history, even if a history is uncomfortable. Because we all know everyone is very uncomfortable in the city about the history that revolves around Nualia, of a orphaned child being mistreated.
You know, everyone on this council has their own expertise, their own thing they are great at, their own domain, right? Like, how would you feel if I went, or like if Father Zantus went up to you and told you how to run your business? In the end, Absalom is responsible for the spiritual side of things, all things concerning the dead, the afterlife, the spirits, the gods. He is the prime authority here in Sandpoint for those things. And if he, with his expertise and his knowledge, deems it the best course for Sandpoint to lay this, spirit, this angry spirit to rest, then laying it before a council of people who are less familiar with this subject and having it debated until death is, in my estimation, a worse decision than going through with something that is your expertise and that you know will keep the town safe.
And if I might add to it, that a delay on this would have increased the danger that was posed by Nugget and his goons trying to steal the bones and actually summoning and rallying Nualia until she becomes an actual bat spirit. So there was a time sensitivity to it, and sometimes time sensitivity, just as Giovanni further explained, just as discussing it, the result could have been a no, and that would have posed more danger to Sandpoint.
And in the end, I think it's also to prevent a panic in the people. I guess we, in the end, didn't succeed in preventing a group of people being concerned and coming to the cathedral to voice their concerns. But with no knowledge in the wider city, it also hopefully prevents people from interrupting the ritual and putting themselves in harm's way.
You get, once again, some nods in general, but no direct indication of how it has affected them. Which is where Il-Sawari stands up. First of all, I'm very happy you all made it today. I know you have other things to take care of. My question would be, do you believe, truly, that the information that you have gained and the things you have learned from this occasion outweighs the danger that might have been happening to our city?
Yes, certainly. I think we can all agree on that. The ritual was one spell, a ritual. It had a local risk to it, as any ritual or casting does, as you know, and we made sure to keep that contained. whereas the dangers and things we learned of through the ritual affect the whole city and all of the townsfolk that we want to try to keep safe.
What
Kind of no. Sorry.
Gigi said.
He
Yeah, I think none of us have anything to add, like, it's just not in agreement.
He gives his own nod and sits down, which leads us to Kendra. The mayor stands up and asks, "Do you, in full transparency and honesty, believe that Sandpoint was at any point at risk by Father Zantus' actions?"
No. His actions, on the contrary, kept Sandpoint safe.
Father Zantus estimated the threat to Sandpoint correctly and employed us to make sure that threat does not become more than just a threat. He has acted in good faith and in very good estimation of what he was doing. And at no point did it seem to me like Father Zantus did not know what he was doing or was acting recklessly. He had it under control the whole way through.
I can also add that Outrani told me about the ritual, and I know Outrani for a long time now, and I know that she would never do anything to harm or like endanger this city here or people in general. So if she was on board, I am of the firm belief that there is no danger coming from such a ritual. Cannot be handled from my friends here.
Aw, he called me a friend.
I am now going to ask for the last roll of today's session. You can tell me what skill you're using. It could be the same one you did before. Depending on both your rolls and your answers, you might bump some people up or down to what they think about the scenario. I will remind you each have a hero point. You can either choose to use it now for the role that you're using, and then you obviously get it back next session, or if you would like to use it retroactively to the role you did before. You do not know what you rolled before, though.
Do the rolls have like a weight? Is one of them more important or something?
The one that you rolled before was the more important one. The first one was the more important one. So if you would like to roll all of those with a hero point and improve that and still take the higher one,
if you'll allow it, honestly,
chances.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep,
sure,
same.
then I'll also roll the first one again and see if it
Given this was a very
improves, maybe.
roleplay heavy session, I'd be happy to use my hero
Yep.
point on this.
yeah,
So
that's what you have hero
it's-
points for.
Can you already roll the second roll, or should we wait a bit?
Yes.
Is that one
Or
also
you can roll
hidden?
the second roll. Yes. Actually, no. This one will be open because this is more of you yourself aiding your own claim.
Then I don't think it makes much sense for me to switch from society.
But-
Even though it's not my best, but let's see.
Yeah, I'll also
Ooh,
stick
that's a
with
16 on the
diplomacy.
die, let's go. 23 total society for me.
We're
Very
using
good.
performance again.
Oh no, I see a
Oh
natural one.
no!
If I had known that the second one roll was open, I would have used the hero point there because you can control it more, but
True. Although, this one actually gives you just a -1 to your previous one. But it's also
Oh,
calculated.
Oh my god.
So we got a natural one and a natural 20.
Sappho.
that balances out.
Equally balanced,
Yes,
exactly.
balance.
As all things
I mean,
should be.
maybe it makes sense that, before that you were focusing so much on the arcane things of it that now they were like, wait, is she still talking about the arcane?
You see the council goes to refer among themselves, and after a couple of minutes they come back, and you have Kendra once more claiming, "We have discussed the topic and each of the council members have reached their own opinion, whether Father Zantus has placed Sandpoint under risk. For those who believe he did, they will be voting yes. Those who believe he didn't will be voting no. Father Zantus, you need 3 no's to remain in the council. And I will gladly give you the first one, as I do not believe Father Zantus has placed Sandpoint under danger. She sits down, and you have Kaye going up. While I'm not a fan of being hidden and secretive about things, and I do prefer if you would have been upfront about the ritual from the first place, I as well do not believe Father Zantus has been putting Sandpoint under risk based on the claims of his, bespokens. And she sits down. And you have Titus standing up before. Due to all events, while I have my own opinions of how things should be done, I myself believe that the actions here have been harmful, but not in the way they have been described. That is another no from me. And he sits down.
Oh, let's go. I even got Scarnetti, man. And I try to high five Sappho.
Yeah. Like we do a low five just behind our back. It's just again like a little bit of
keep
a
it discreet,
scarf.
keep it discreet.
Like just a scarf,
yeah.
flutter, and then it's a little.
Then you have also Ari standing up. Well, I guess it wouldn't really matter what my opinion would be. However, I have known Father Zantus for many years, never as a person who would put our town in risk. Due to the claims and evidence we have been presented with, I as well give a no. And he sits down as Kendra goes back up. Then with that, our town hall meeting is adjourned. Father Zantus, you will retain your seat in the council and will not be positioned to being banned from it. As for the results and efforts of your friends here to present that your deeds were indeed helpful and not harmful. Thank you very much for coming to this town meeting. I wish you all a very pleasant evening, and may we meet in better circumstances. Meeting dismissed.
Yeah, like at the tavern right now. First round's on me. Let's go.
And yeah, you finish the town meeting. Father Zantus got 4 no's about risking the town based on your claims, your answers, and your performance.
Hell
Good job.
Unanimous. Woo.
That's great.
Unanimous.
It calls for a celebration.
You go to the tavern to celebrate.
We're back to the tavern. Yet again, happy, not sad.
Exactly. The bartender's like a little bit like, is it okay to... Oh, they seem better today. Okay.
They're like, hey, I would have not given you again alcohol because yesterday you looked like you were trying to drown yourself, and that's not... No,
Exactly.
we're not doing this.
Like, you seem better today. You can drink. You're allowed. But this is where we're going to end today's session, as you've succeeded in letting Father Zantus keep his position and not be tried as someone who risked the town. Good job.
And we got 4 votes. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to know what the blind rolls were and if the hero point made a difference. I need to know.
Absolutely did.
Oh,
wow.
I can tell you that one of you moved from success on some and fail on others, since the DCs are different, to natural 20.
Okay.
And then it means success on everyone, which is already good. I think only one of you reduced their number. All of you improved your number, except for one.
Okay.
I mean, if somebody does the hero point, that means they still took the other and the old.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's good. Good thing we did it.
Yeah.
Which means
Also,
we
thank
can-
you for
next
bringing it up.
section-
So,
Yes. Because I was also I thought about it during it, but it was like, oh, I don't know how many more rolls we might need to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, those things. Yeah, thank you as well.
Yes, of course. But next session, after you have some nice drinking in the tavern, we're gonna figure out
a lot of drinking.
Maybe
No,
not too
no.
much. We kinda have to like face Rib Nugget next time.
Tanukis can.
Sappho
drink
will
a
make
lot.
sure for every beer that people are drinking, there's going to be a larger glass of water that they are forced to drink as well.
Then here's the big question. Are you going to face Rip Nugget next session?
Likely.
Exactly.
I don't want to be a nugget.
Yep.
I think I would be a tasty nugget.
We'll see you all next time on the big one. Party against Rip Nugget. Thank you for listening.
Until
Have a
next
good
time.
evening.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Red Sun Rising is made by Of Dice and Dinner, produced under the Paizo Incorporated Community Use Policy. Red Sun Rising uses trademarks and or copyrights owned by Paizo Inc., used under Paizo's fan content policy at paizo.com/licenses/fan content. Red Sun Rising is not published, endorsed, or specifically approved by Paizo. For more information about Paizo Inc. and Paizo products, visit paizo.com. Original characters and content are the property of Dice and Dinner. Our podcast intro-outro theme is made by Frieda, Melando, and Shachar Bieber. Of Dice and Dinner is happy to be in touch, and our email is the best way to do so. That's ofdiceanddinnerpodcast@gmail.com.